In this Godot tutorial, I'll be showing you how to make a flamethrower. So let's open up Godot to a new scene and let's create the flamethrower. Create a mesh instance node and give it a new cube mesh. Adjust its size, shape, and color until it looks roughly the way you want. Next, right-click on mesh instance node and add an area node as a child. Right-click on the area node and add a collision shape. Give it a capsule shape and then click on the area node and move it forward so that the end of the capsule is touching the front of the gun. This is going to be the hitbox for the flames on our flamethrower. Finally, right-click on the mesh instance node and add a timer node. In the inspector, change its wait time to 0.1 seconds. Add a script to the main node and we can begin coding. In the script, the first thing we're going to do is write var damage equals 5. You can of course adjust this to your liking, but I went with 5. We'll also create a reference to the area hitbox by writing onReadyVar fl_box equals $area, as well as a reference to the timer by writing onReadyVar timer equals $timer. Next, we're going to program firing the weapon by creating a process function. Write func_process delta, then at the top left, click on project and project settings, and in the input map tab, make sure you have a key binding called fire. If not, go ahead and create one now. Back in the process function, write if input.isActionJustPressed fire timer.start, as well as if input.isActionJustReleased fire timer.stop. When we press the fire button, the timer node will start counting down, and we want to make it so that every 0.1 seconds it applies damage to the target. We also want the timer to stop counting down when we let go of the button. So let's make that happen. Click on the timer node, and in the inspector, in the node tab, right-click on timeout and click connect. Click connect one more time and a new function will appear in our script. Every time the timer counts down to 0, the game will run any code that is inside this function. Delete pass and write var enemies equals flbox.getOverlappingBodies. For E in enemies, e.health minus equals damage. If you want to learn more about overlapping bodies and for loops, go check out my video on grenades where I talk about it in detail. Moving on, I created an enemy character to test the flamethrower. If you've been following my videos, then you should know already how to make one for yourself. But looking in the script, we can see that the enemy has 100 health, and if its health goes to 0, it will die and be deleted from the game. Every 0.1 seconds, our flamethrower will apply damage to any and all enemies inside the flame hitbox. Let's test it out by attaching our gun to a character controller. Watch my video on first-person character controllers if you don't know how to make one. Set up a world with enemies in it and run the game. When you get within range of an enemy and hold down fire, the enemy will take damage over time until its health goes to 0 and it dies. Great, but it's looking a bit plain right now, so let's add a simple fire particle effect. Back in the flamethrower scene, right-click on Mesh Instance and add a Particles node. You'll see a yellow box appear around the gun, and inside this area is where the particle effects will take place. Adjust its size to fit the gun, and since the particles will be emitted from the center of the box, make sure to move its center to the front of the gun. Then in the inspector, change its amount to 200. Then in the Draw Passes tab, click on Empty next to Pass 1 and add a quad mesh. Click on the preview window and next to material, add a new spatial material. Click on its preview window and under flags, turn on transparent and unshaded. Next, go to vertex color and turn on use as albedo. And after that, go to parameters. Change blend mode to add and change billboard mode to particle billboard. Under albedo, change its color to a deep orange-red color, but you won't be seeing any changes just yet. This is normal. Close out of draw passes and go to time. Change lifetime to 0.5 and randomness to 1. Then go to process material and add a new particles material. Now things are starting to change. Click on particles material and under gravity, change its Y value to something like 3. Go to initial velocity and change velocity to 5, and now it's starting to look a little bit more like fire. Go to direction and set the X value to 0 and the Z value to -1 so that the fire is shooting forward, and adjust its spread however you like. I ended up with 13.97. Next, go to scale and change its scale to something like 0.4. After that, close out of process material, go back to draw passes, tweak the albedo some more if you need to, and then turn emitting off. We want the flames to shoot only when we're firing the flamethrower, and to do that, go back to the script, onReadyVar particles equals $particles, and in the process function, write particles.emitting equals true after timer.start, and particles.emitting equals false after timer.stop. Now, when you run the game, the flamethrower can shoot flames and it'll kill all kinds of enemies. Of course, if you want to go even further, you can model a flamethrower in a 3D modeling program and use that as the mesh for your flamethrower so that you can have an even cooler flamethrower. Anyways, thanks for watching. Links to my Discord, Twitter, and computer setup down below. Like, subscribe, bell button, and as always, have a nice day.